Hi, this is HardballRetro. Welcome to the Retronome. This is part 2 of a tutorial on how to conduct a solo draft in Diamond Mine Baseball version 12. Diamond Mine Baseball was developed by Tom Tippett, and let's just jump right on in. So in the first video I conducted the draft using the all-time greats. And now we're going to simulate a season and review the results. Before we get started with the simulating the season, we're going to go into the roster / manager profile. And we'll pick my team, which was the Anaheim Angels. Let's maximize that. Alright, so here's my roster. It's basically going to show the last names and the positions. So if you're familiar with the program, you basically click on these tabs and modify starting rotation, spot starters, and then various bullpen roles here. Just by highlighting the player, and then I think you right click and insert. You can change the rotation size, usage. There's a number of options here. Saved lineups, so you can save versus righty versus lefty. You just toggle this drop down over here, whether you're using this lineup in DH games and so forth. You can set up depth charts for each position. Manage your tendencies. I haven't messed with this, but you can adjust using these sliders how often you want to bunt for a hit, how often you want to steal, pinch hitting, defensive replacements, and so forth. And I haven't gotten into the weeds in this, but you can also do player tendencies. So one of the nice features of Diamond Mine is that you have these manager profile reports. So we can quickly, at a glance, see all of my settings here for a given team. So this is again for the players that I drafted onto the Angels squad here. So you can see my rotation of Maddox, Kershaw, Chance, Sale, and Scherzer. I've got Tanana and Valenzuela as spot starters. And then different relief roles that I assigned. And then down here, so this is lineup versus righties. That's Ted Williams, Frank Thomas, as in Big Hurt Frank Thomas, not the other Frank Thomas. Wilson is Hack Wilson, and you probably recognize the other names here. Alright, then we have versus lefties, Carew, Frisch, Williams, Pujols, Hank Aaron, Hack Wilson, Troy Gloss, Troy Tulowitzki, Sandy Alomar. Alright, I didn't mess with any of the sliders as we saw with the manager tendencies. You've got playing time limits and so forth. So I thought before we simulate the seasons, like right now, we don't really know who's on the other teams, right? So you can just toggle through the other teams here. And these were all set up by the computer. I didn't make any changes. So, alright, for the Diamondbacks, we've got Walsh, Johnson, Kamitz, Derringer, and Carpenter. I'm not going to read all of these, but I'll just put them up on the page. So if you're interested, you can look at these starting lineups for the D-backs: Chance, Wright, Riser, Salmon, Larkin, Minoso, Collins, Sexton, Pedroia. And then the computer went ahead and did these depth charts. I didn't bother with mine. We'll see if that makes any difference. This is, that was versus righty. Oh, I looked at versus lefty. Versus righty. So Clark is in here now. Bottomley, right at third. Mignoso, Pedroia. I think that's mostly the same. All right, so again, I don't want to bore anyone or belabor the point here, but I do want to go through these quickly. Otherwise, you really don't know who's on what team, or you can always refer back to this at least. Orioles got Verlander, Henkin, Ellsworth, Lemon, and Marbury. All right, their closer is Gordon. Lineup of Sanders. Thinking that's Reggie Sanders. Groh, Lajoie, Heilman, Olerud, Kemp, Hodges, Davis, and Reese. And then if we look at versus righties, we've got Brantley, Kemp, Lajoie, Heilman, Olerud. There's Freddie Lynn, Groh, McCarver, and Holliker. All right, next, Boston Braves. Clarkson, Lowe, Groom, Halladay, Beckett. Nathan is the closer. Lineup: Baker, Cedeno, Delahanty, Jackson, Dietz, Dye, Cronin, Sandberg, Burns. Got Earl Coombs here. Baker at third. Kluszewski, Youngs, Tommy Henrik, all reliable. Dietz, and Cronin. All right. Red Sox: Faber, Saberhagen, Brown, Busby, Sheets. Chapman is the closer. Versus lefty: Terry, Quinton, Simmons, Stanton, Petrocelli, Lazzeri, Evans, probably Darrell Evans at third, yep. Bench, and Glanville. And versus righties, similar, we've got Sam Thompson in there, got Jimmy Edmonds, Palmeiro, Wilkins, and Red Rolf. Okay, Dodgers: Durker, Wyatt, Kluber, Feaster, and Spahn. Zimmerman the closer. Lineup versus lefties: Chipper Jones, Trammell, Hamilton, Pafko, Alou, Barfield, Teixeira, Fisk, Hodap. Which Alou is that? Not sure. We can probably find out if we go to their roster here. Doyle, Jones, Hamilton, Walker, Drew, Cooper, Trammell, Huff, Berra. Okay. Let's see if we click on Alou. Felipe Alou. Okay, there you go. All right, yeah, and as you just saw, I didn't bother importing photos here, but that is an option. Cubs: Kovaleski, Roberts, Tiant, Hahn, Musina, Soriano the closer, Worth, Anderson, Allen, Ruth. Here's Babe Ruth on the Cubs. So this could be interesting, him playing his home games at Wrigley. Colbert, Critch, Blauser, Young, and Martin. Versus righties, we've got Tiernan, Travis, Ruth, Mize, Anderson, Allen, Porter, May, and Runnels. Next up, White Sox: Addy Joss leading the rotation. Lyons, Seaver, Drysdale, Weaver. Thinking that's Jared Weaver. Kern is their closer. We've got Gilkey, Guerrero, Schmidt, McGuire, Fielder. That's a stacked offense right there. Lombardi, Ashburn, Renteria, LeMahieu. And versus righties, Ashburn, Strawberry, Yaz, McGuire, Clemens, Schmidt, Johnson, Sewell, Daly. Alright, Reds, Cuellar, Clemens, Palmer, Hands, and Steeb. JJ Putz is the closer. Reds lineup is Molitor, Speaker, Giambi, Bonds, Barry Bonds, Rosen, Liscano, Ramirez, Ennis, and Hartnett. Versus righties, Keeler, Molitor, Giambi, Bonds, Speaker, Rosen, Ramirez, Grantham, and Hartnett. Okay. Indians, Eddie Seacott, Ford, Millwood, Grove, Rogers. Smith is the closer. Could be Lee Smith. Let's see, roster. Smith, closer. Nope, Dave Smith. Guessed wrong on that one. Alright. Starting lineup, Grimes, Ozuna, Tartable, Cruz, McCutcheon, Beltry, Carter, Alomar, Stevens. And down here, Alomar, Grimes, Cavaretta, Staub, O'Doul, Beltray, Carter, Pinson, Vizquel. Alright, Rockies, rotation of Leonard, Smoltz, Messersmith, Tannehill, Kraus, closer Hernandez, probably Willie Hernandez. Lineup, Goldschmidt leading off, Carty, Harper, Hornsby, Sheffield, Cabrera, Lopata, Bancroft, Blair. Versus righties, Carty, Sheffield, Hornsby, Harper, Giles, Cabrera, Goldschmidt, McCann, Bancroft. And again, this is from the all-time greats. We did a 35-round draft, so all of these teams are going to be stacked. It's just we'll just see how the simulated results shake out here. Dean, Lincecum, Newhouser, Passo, and Aguirre. This is for the Tigers. Kimbrell's their closer. Versus lefties, Burns, Keltner, Frank Robinson, Mantle, Luzinski, Abreu, Franco, Stearns, Wills. And versus righties, we've got Floyd, Veach, Frank Robinson, Mantle, Fournier, Headley, Meyer, Simmons, Wills. Alright, Marlins, four-man rotation. Chesbro, Houston, Guidry, Sparks, Suter the closer. Versus lefties, he's got Bay, Rose, Walker, Piazza, Zimmerman, Appling, Boyer, Grissom, Richardson. Versus righties, Rose, Zimmerman, Walker, Piazza, Wheat, Williams in center, Geringer, Beckley, Appling. Who's the Williams here? Bernie Williams. Okay. Next up, Houston. Haynes, Perry, Apier, Warnicki, Schmidt. Ladd is the closer. Versus lefties, McGee, Harper, Batista. That's Tommy Harper, I'm guessing. Sosa, Encarnacion, McRae, Raines, Rizzuto, Rodriguez. Versus righties, we have McGee, Hernandez, Batista, Sosa, Mabry, Murphy, Raines, Rizzuto, Rodriguez. Interesting choice for Raines to be hitting 7th, in my opinion, but especially McGee is not a high on base guy. I would probably flip-flop them, but not my call. Letting the computer manager make those decisions. All right, here's another four-man rotation. This is the Royals. McGinnity, Walters, Greinke, Feller. Burke is the closer. Versus lefties, Biggio, Irvin, Wynn, Colavito, Maurer, Canerco, Bando, Aurelia, Most Still. And versus righties, Freeman, Bando, Maurer, Howard, Williams, Parker, Biggio, Aurelia, Most Still. And again, you see this is 2017, so I believe that's about the time frame when those all-time greats rosters were created. And I believe I saw Aaron Judge in here somewhere, so I think they got his rookie year. So anything post 2017 is not going to be in here. Brewers rotation: Mathewson, Scott, Gooden, Norris, Jimenez, Isringhausen's the closer. And look at that, Robin Yount wound up on Milwaukee here. Yount, Allison, Torrey, Cepeda, Hidalgo, Avila, misspelled at second, Jeffries, Sandoval. Versus righties, Yount, Hamilton, Ott, Stargell, Pena, Torrey, Whitaker, Jeffries, Sandoval. Okay. Expos, four-man rotation: Nichols, Pedro Martinez, Soto, Goltz. Nen is the closer. We've got Knobloch, Bresnahan, Herman, Medwick, Jackson, Rowland, Reynolds, McCormick, Chapman. And versus righties, we have Jackson, Medwick, Herman, Helton, Cochran, Rowland, Erstad, Knobloch, and Chapman. New York Giants: Gibson, Sutton, Jenkins, Richard, and Brown. That's an excellent rotation. Got Fernando Rodney as the closer. Versus lefties: Cobb, Fonseca, Joe Morgan, Martinez, Garcia Parra, Davis, Molina, Holiday, and Betts. Versus righties: Morgan, Paul Wanner, Cobb, Goslin, Martinez, Vernon, Garcia Parra, Molina, Figgins. Okay, here's the Mets: Koufax, Hershiser, Carlton, Rudolph. Gagne, the closer. The Mets with Jeter. Look at that. Mora, Guerrero, Foster, Clemente, Bryant, Sternweiss, Mondesi, Kendall. Versus righties: Jeter, Clemente, Guerrero, Tomei, Foster, Ellsbury, Gordon, Sternweiss, and Kendall. Yankees: five-man rotation: Blyleven, Jackson, Schilling, Niekro, Newcomb. We have Hernandez as the closer. There's another Hernandez, so one of these is Roberto, one of these is Willie, I'm guessing. This one's Willie, so I guess the other one was Roberto. Braun, Downing, Musial, Cash, Killebrew, Puckett, Loretta, Brooks Robinson, and Smith, the shortstop. Versus righties: Braun, Doby, Musial, Cash, Killebrew, Klein, Downing, Cano, Don't You Know, Smith. Philadelphia A's five-man rotation of Wood, Parnell, George Uhl, Garcia, and Deneen. Accardo, the closer. Lineup of Lang, A-Rod, Vaughn, Judge, Gonzalez, Vaughn, two Vaughns. Oh, Archie Vaughn, probably Greg Vaughn. Anson, Giles, Scioscia. A-Rod, Judge, Vaughn, Mercer, Gonzalez, Davis, Lang, Giles, Scioscia. Phillies: Johnson, Grimes, Coombs, Jones, Peavy, Soria, the closer. Lineup versus lefties of Burkett, Bobby Bonds, Eddie Matthews, Gentile, Martinez, Ripken Jr., Mazzilli, Bell, Herman. Versus righties, we have Burkett, Slaughter, Matthews, Gentile, Griffey, Martinez, Rizzo, Ripken, Herman. Alright, we're almost through all these folks, so bear with me one more minute here. Pirates, we've got Alexander, Cooper, Webb, Hoyt, Higuera, Britton, the closer. Lineup of Davis, Bradley, Hoyles, Fox, Beltran, Baylor, Sweeney, Kyler, Kell. Versus righties, Davis, Sisler, Williams, Fox, Beltran, Hoyles, Markakis, Sweeney, Kell. I think that's Billy Williams. Could be wrong though. Not going to bother checking that right now. Padres, Arrieta, Shantz, Russell, Key, Sorensen, Uhara, the closer. Leading off, Henderson in left. Then we have Dahlin, Snyder, Gehrig, Cravath, Kent, DeCince, Hunley, and Dawson batting ninth and center. Versus righties, we have Henderson, Dahlin, Snyder, Gehrig, Maris, Kent, Hunley, Sizemore, and Hack. Alright, Mariners, Vance, Philippe, Witt, Adams, Brackeen, Feliz is the closer. Versus lefties, Sherry McGee, Mays, Canseco, Bagwell, Howard, Santo, Boone, Fregosi, Batty. Versus righties, McGee, Mays, Canseco, Bagwell, Gonzalez, Santo, Carpenter, Fregosi, Batty. Okay. Cardinals, Overall, Rulebach, Tudor, Wood, Hernandez. Lidge is the closer. Versus lefties, Elliott, Trout, Wagner, McCovey, Lopez, Singleton, Vosmick, Rudy, Alfonso. Versus righties, Wagner, Trout, Brett, McCovey, Lopez, Singleton, Berkman, Manush, and Shane Dinst. Okay. Rays, Gleason, Hunter, Ryan, Gomez, Fernandez. Closer is Eck. We've got a lineup of Howard Johnson, Donaldson, DiMaggio, Kiner, Ordonez, Kelly, Collins, Posada, Gonzalez. And versus righties, Collins, Johnson, Votto, Kiner, DiMaggio, Holmes, Abreu, Posada, Donaldson. Alright, Rangers, Marichal, Leonard, Singer, Caldwell, Porcello. Holland is the closer. Versus lefties, we have Robinson, Munson, Delgado, Clark, Ramirez, Rice, Grote, Pollock, and Longoria. And versus righties, we have Lenny Dykstra leading off, followed by Jimmy Sheckard. And then we have Ramirez, Delgado, Caminiti, Green, Robinson, Munson, and Pesky. And for the Jays, rotation of Santana, I'm guessing Johan, Farrell, Blue, Herron, Cueto, Myers is the closer. Versus lefty lineup is Bedrew, Kaline, Duffy, Greenberg, Mitchell, Winfield, Posey, Altuve, Karowski. Versus righties, we have Webb, Bedrew, Duffy, Keller, Hafner, Greenberg, Posey, Altuve, Karowski. And the Senators, Young, Luke, Bender, McLean, Loiza, Corbett, the closer. Versus lefties, Davis, Lindstrom, Lee, Bell, Boggs, Jensen, LaDuca, Dozier, Rollins. Versus righties, we have Lofton, Crawford, Boggs, Dickey, Bell, Lee, Roberts, Suzuki, Rollins. And we're back around to the Angels. So we're going to close out of this. We're going to go to game scheduled. Alright, everybody's 0-0 here. And we are going to autoplay. And we're we're going to play through, let's see. Stay all remaining games. I want to play through to, let's go to June 30th. Oh, there. Alright, so we're going to see the scores quickly populating here. Alright, the day on the calendar is going to change. And again, we're just seeing final results, and we're seeing the standings change. So I figured let's go halfway through the season, take a pause, see where we're at, and then we'll continue on. Let's see if anybody jumps out into a decent lead here. It looks like the Royals are 6-0. Got a couple teams 4-0 up there. My Angels are 3-5. Not off to a good start, but it's pretty early. So. And we were looking at the Royals earlier. Now they're 7-4, and they're out of first place. Phillies 9-3. Anybody else with 9 wins? There we go. The White Sox 9-5. Okay, White Sox 11-5, 12-5. Okay, I'm 5-11. That's not good. Okay, nice race up here. Marlins 14-6. Got the White Sox 13-6, 13-7. Nobody's opening up much of a lead yet. And I'm off to a 9-16 start. Call the paramedics. Yikes. Barely out of April there. 10-16 in April, I think. That was awful. Well, I'm not sure what's going on there. Didn't like something with my lineup or what. I mean, I've got a pretty stacked rotation from what I recall. I mean, I'm like 10 games out already. I'm basically out of this thing. Okay, well, let's focus on some of the other teams here. Let's see, we got 25 wins for the Marlins, 26 now. This division is pretty tightly packed here in the Central, NL Central. NL West, we've got the Rockies slightly out in front there. Okay, Yankees are 2 games up on a couple of teams here. Nobody's really pulling away from the pack there. And look at that. Look at the Central here, separated by a game. Pretty crazy. And here I am sitting 10 games back. Not one of my prouder moments here, folks. Alright, Mariners are up by 4 games already. Okay, the Marlins, 30 wins. First team to 30 wins. There we go. While that's running, I'm just curious. Click on the score tab here. And you can see the scores flying past. Go to details, we can see the wins, losses, and saves for each game. So this is a neat view, right? Go back to standings here. We are where? June 9th, it looks like. And we've got, let's see, the Marlins 39 wins. This division is still tight. The West, the Rockies are up, but not by much. We've got the Yankees up by a game over Boston. And, oh, look at that. I'm up to third. I'm up to third, baby. Keep winning. Come on, guys. We can still pull this out. It's still early. I'm 8.5 back. It's still not looking great for me. And we've got a tight race in the Central still. Currently the Senators on top there. Okay, we're coming up on June 30th, so we'll be pausing here momentarily. Orioles with a 19-9 win over the Tigers. All right. So we'll say at the beginning of July here. Let's see where we're at. There we go. Okay, Marlins with 47 wins, but they're only a game and a half up on the Braves. Phillies are 15 back there. Pirates, 500 winning percentage, a half game up on the Reds in the NL Central. Rockies are 2 games up on the Padres here in the West. The Dodgers 9.5 back there. Over in the American League, we've got the Yankees 3 up on the Sox. Senators, game and a half up on the Indians, but look at that, the Tigers in last, only 3.5 out. So the 2 Central divisions are really tight. And okay, I kind of crept back into contention here. I'm 6.5 out. The Mariners hold a 1.5 game lead over the Astros. So let's look at, what if we clicked on scores here, and let's just look at right here, this bottom one is a high scoring game. If I score down here, there we go. Diamondbacks Cubs 16-4. Alright, and so for the Cubbies, we had home runs from Ruth, Mize, 2 homer game for Anderson, and Kamnitz got blown up there, 1 inning, 9 earned. Okay. Tiant gets the win. Let's look at see if there's anything else of interest here. There's that 19-9 game. 10 runs in the 11th inning. Look at that. Okay, this is a cool one to click into here. So the Orioles scored 10 in the 11th. I'm interested to see who that was against, pitching-wise. Okay, Heilman with a homer. Just hits all over the place here. And, oh, Eichhorn took the loss. Robertson came in and gave up 4. Mesa gave up 2. Ouch. All right, Olerud knocked in 3. Heilman knocked in 3. Fain with a couple of ribbies. Lankford Um, Fred Lynn. Okay, so cool. So what if we go to reports here, and let's look at the leaders while we're at the, maybe not quite the All-Star break, but I'm going to say this is the halfway point, right? So we go to leaders, report type, report name, batting leaders, generate, all players in database, sure. All right, so Jesse Burkett with a 411 average, leading the way here. On base, Ted Williams, 501 for me. Hornsby, 811 slug. Hits, Hornsby. Runs, Hornsby. RBI, Hornsby. All right. And again, maybe the park factor here a little bit. Not that he's not an awesome player to begin with, but playing your games in Colorado, or playing your home games, that can't hurt. 32 doubles, Delahanty. Triples, 13 by Davis. Bonds, 37 homers, followed by Hornsby, Ruth, Sosa, Gehrig, Kiner, Greenberg, Tomei, Edmonds, Giambino. Extra base hits, Hornsby, stolen bases. Sliding Billy Hamilton, I'm going to say that is. 44 against 8 caught stealing. Steal percentage, Sweeney. Walks, Bonds with 86 walks, followed by Williams with 81. Gehrig with 18 free passes, Bonds with 17. Strikeouts, Judge 110. All right, let's close that report. Let's generate the pitching leaders. Generate. Earned run average, Schmidt on Houston. Okay, Lincecum. Look at those ERAs, right? Even though we've got a bunch of, guys from the dead ball era, we've got guys from the 60s with, 1 point something ERA. With all of these excellent offensive players, we have ERAs in the 2s and 3s here, mostly in the 3s. Tanana, 128 Ks, leading the way. And interesting because he was one of my spot starters, so I'm wondering how he wound up in the rotation there. But we'll take it. And actually Valenzuela as well, 99 Ks. Walks, we have Tanana is in there. Tiant. Okay, Koufax 11 and 2. Valenzuela 11 and 7. I'm wondering what happened there with my starters. Koufax winning percentage, average run support, Nichols on Montreal getting 8.5 runs a game. Wow. Batting average against, on base, slug, hits per 9, walks per 9, runs per 9, and so forth. Strikeouts per 9, Johnson, well, that's no surprise, Pedro. Nolan Ryan's up there. Couple of shutouts there, not too many with these offenses, I would imagine. Quality starts, save opportunities. Suter is 21 out of 22 in saves for the Marlins. That's why they're up on the top of their leaderboard. And I don't see Mo Rivera top this list here, so holds, blown saves, blown save percentage, and so on. All right, we're going to play out the remainder of the schedule. So we'll keep an eye on the standings here. Or maybe let's go to September 1st so we can just see. Let's play through August 31st. Autoplay through this selected game. There we go. So we'll know at the beginning of September where we sit here. Okay. Expos tied the Marlins up there. Got the Reds ahead of the Pirates. Rockies 2 up on the Padres. Yankees opened up a little bit of a lead here. The Senators and the White Sox are going back and forth in the AL Central, and the Mariners still sitting atop the West. And my Angels are 10-11 back here, not looking promising at all. If we look at the scores, you can see the scores clicking by there. And the details. Oh, there's a win for me. Percival with the win, Rivera with the save, and Wilson with the game-winning RBI. See, it would be nice here if it showed the who was playing. Anyhow, let's go back to standings. Expos over the Marlins by a game and a half, tied now. Reds Pirates are locked in a duel here in the NL Central. Rockies Padres Giants is close here. American League East, Yankees 4 games over Boston right now. White Sox, this division is still anybody's race here. AL Central, 3.5 games separate first and last. I am now 12 back. I'm probably officially out of this thing. I hate conceding, but it doesn't look promising at all here. And just curious what happened. Alright, let's look at the divisional races again. Got the Expos leading by 3.5, 4 games over the Marlins there. Pirates over the Reds, Padres over the Rockies and Giants. Yankees over the Red Sox. Senators currently leading the AL Central, but it's tight. And the Mariners, oh, the Astros cut that lead to 5 games, 4.5 games. Okay. Alright. So we're in mid-August now. Keeping an eye on our magic numbers here. Couple teams in the mid-30s for magic number. Expos 4 up on the Marlins now. Pirates up on the Reds. Padres over the Rockies. Yankees 6 up on Boston. Indians now in the lead here. This is going to be right down to the wire, I feel. AL Central. Oh, look at the Astros pulling to win within 1 game of the Mariners here. Look at that. Okay, we're coming up on August 31st, so we'll take a quick pause just to get our bearings here. Oh, the Expos opening up a lead here. 8 games now. Okay, alright, so we've got a little pause in the action. Expos 7 games up on Florida with a 19-game magic number. Pirates 8 up on the Reds now. They opened up a big lead there as well. 9-1 in their last 10. And they now have a 23 magic number. Padres, this is a tight race. Look at that. Padres, Giants, Rockies. That's going to come down to the wire. Yankees, Red Sox, 7.5 games for the Yanks. 24 magic number. Senators, this is Royals and White Sox out of it yet? I don't know. They've got a bit of a mountain to climb here. We've got a 3-team race at least in the AL Central, though. And look at that, the Mariners, the Astros tied them here. with 1 month to go. And my Angels 11.5 back. So we do have wild card standings. Look at that. Okay. So I guess the Marlins and the Indians right now. Yeah. Alright, let's autoplay this thing to the end here. All remaining games. Bingo. Alright, let's do this. Keep it right here on the standings page. Let's see if there's anybody making a move. Expos, Pirates, Padres. Well, this division's tight. Yankees, 17, 16 magic number now. 17 for the Spos. Astros taking the lead. Look at that. The Mariners falling. 3 back. Senators trying to hang in there. Okay, Expos down to a 13 magic number. 10 games for the Yankees. Looks like they're going to clinch soon here. Houston up by 2 only now. That's going to go down to the wire. Expos with a 7, Yankees with a 4, 3. The Yankees are about to clinch here. Yankees down to 2. Yankees down to 1. And Yankees down to 0. So the Yankees clinch there. Looks like the Expos are about to celebrate up here. And there we go. Expos clinch. Congratulations. Pirates about to clinch here, it looks like. Yep. Pirates do it. Padres down to a 3 magic number. Look at that. Sub 500 though. Astros down to 3. Let's keep it here. Padres clinch, but they're below 500. Senators clinch, and the Astros, can they do it? Yes, the Astros do it. So there we go. Take a look at the final standings here. Expos by 9 over the Marlins. We've got the Pirates by 9 over the Reds. Padres end up 6 ahead of the Giants and Rockies. Yankees go 13 up on Boston. Senators 3 games over the Tigers, 9 over the Royals. That 8-2 in their last 10, that certainly helped. And the Astros hold on for a 2-game victory over the Mariners. And the Padres finished right at 500 there, so I was curious how that was going to wind up. And I ended up 69 and 85, 13 games out. I had 831 runs scored, 866 against. So pitching was part of my problem, it looks like. Maybe defense. I did not have a great defense, so maybe that was... I'm curious if that was an issue for me. Let's go to the reports here. Okay, we'll go back to our leaderboards. Final individual leaders. Jesse Burkett hits 414 over Lajoie, Cobb, Crawford, and Terry. Hannes Wagner, Hamilton, Suzuki, Baker, and Clark. Ted Williams, 497 on base, leading the way. Bonds, 840 slug. That's insane. Look at Ruth, 800. Hornsby, Gehrig. All right. Hits, Burkett, 266. Wow. Terry, Wagner, Cobb, Hornsby. All of these guys with 200 plus hits. Runs scored, Ruth. Bonds, close second there. RBI, Ruth. Bonds, Fox, Hornsby, Simmons. Okay. Doubles. Wagner, Duffy, Terry, Speaker, Grimes, all 50 plus. Bunch of guys with 20 triples here. Homers. Bonds with 82 homers. Which is a bit surprising against all of these all-time great pitchers. Hornsby, Ruth, Kiner, McGuire, all with 60 plus homers. Extra base hits, Ruth, Hamilton, 73 steals, edging Kenny Lofton in that department. Walks, Ruth 159 to Ted Williams 158, and Bonds 152. And Judge with 237 strikeouts, blowing away the competition there. Let's go to our pitching leaders. Here we go. Schmidt, Vance, Alexander, Johnson, and Hewson. Everybody with a 3 ERA. In the leaders there, Tanana leading the way with 273 strikeouts. Pedro next, followed by Johnson, Vance, and Kluber. Ryan, as expected, leading the way with walks. Valenzuela and Tanana were up there. That didn't help me at all. Although Valenzuela led the league with 20 victories. So, good thing I had Fernando there. Average run support, Chance, almost 7.5 runs a game. Batting average against, I'll just leave this up here. I'm not going to read all these. Ks per 9, Johnson, Martinez, Ryan, all of the usual suspects. Shutouts, a couple guys with 4. Saves, Hernandez, Nathan, Suter, Kern, Isringhausen. Alright, so I'm curious. Let's go to team batting. And we're picking the Angels here from the drop down. Alright, so here's how my team performed overall here. So, Williams, and this was a 154 game schedule. Williams, 350, 30, 83. So my RBI leader was Hack Wilson and Albert Pujols with 112. Frank Thomas, 101. He also had 34 jacks. Pujols had 36, but he only hit 252. So again, you're facing all-time great pitching. Some of these guys are going to hit a bit lower than you would probably expect them to. So yeah, I just had too many like outfield first base DH types. So you can see like Hank Aaron didn't get a ton of playing time here. Gloss Arenado platooned Tulo and Banks, mostly Ernie Banks though. Banks did well. Alright, so Carew hit 315, 209 hits. Alright, so I'm happy that Rod Carew did well for me there. I had like no team speed though really, other than Brock sitting on my bench here doing not much of anything. Alright, Campanella hitting 199, that's not very helpful. He did have 21 dingers. Alomar Jr., Young. Mattingly hit 308. Okay. Alright, so that's the... so then I can do this by team also. Let's just flip through these real quick and just guess we'll keep it sorted on batting average. That's fine. All right, so Clark here. Let's see. So Diamondbacks home run leader was Larkin, 33. He also drove in 103 and swiped 39 bags, so that was pretty good year for Larkin there. Salmon knocked in 118, leading the team there. And who's that? 55 steals for Frank Chance. Okay. Cool. Good stuff here. Next, Orioles. Lajoie, 388. Not unexpected at all. But 24 dingers. And let's see who else here. 27 homers for Kemp. Nobody with 100 ribbies. Okay, next. Baker, 359 average. This is home run Baker. 27 homers, 106 ribbies. Delahanty with 132 ribbies. 45 and 119 for Jackson in right field. Pretty stout, 36 doubles too. Nice. Klazuski, 36 bombs, 99 ribbies. All right. Red Sox. Simmons. Palmeiro, 35. Edmonds, 43. Wilkins, 32. Look at that. 33 from Petrocelli. Sam Thompson. Terry. Pretty good offense there. Dodgers got Hamilton, 73 steals, but he also had 18 homers, 99 ribbies, 217 hits. Anything else of note here? And kind of just up and down the lineup, a lot of power. Chipper Jones, 33. Okay. 66 homers from Ruth, 168 ribbies. Pretty incredible. But not only Ruth, they had 40 homers from Mize. They had 42 from Anderson, 43 from Allen. That's an insane lineup. All right, and they did not win their division, I believe. I have to go back and look at the standings again, but the White Sox had 63 bombs from McGuire here, 40 from Schmidt, 29 from Strawberry, 26 from Yaz. Okay. Speaker, 25 and 102, hitting 308. Bonds, 82, 166. That's just like Nintendo numbers there. Giambi, Rosen. Next, Indians. Cavaretta. Okay, Beltre with 43. And the Rockies, 232 hits from Hornsby, 68 and 152. That's an awesome, incredible season there. Miggy Cabrera, 42 and 131. Cardi, Goldschmidt, Harper, Sheffield. Tigers, 51 and 123, 317 average from the Mick. 39 from Frank Robinson, 39 and 118. Okay, the Marlins, 44 and 114 from Walker. Piazza 26/97. Rose 219 hits. The Stros pulling out the AL West victory right at the end there. McGee 210 hits, 63 steals. Sosa 59 and 144. Royals at 42 and 111 from Frank Howard. 35 from Freeman. Okay, Brewers, we got Stargell, 38/96. Ott with 36 and 102. Expos, Herman Medwick, 33 from Roland. Giants had Cobb hitting 384. Morgan. Okay, the Mets, 45 from Tomei. Yankees with 44 from Musial with 134 ribs. Doby, Cash, Klein, all with 30. Killebrew, 36. Pretty stacked offense there. The A's with Gonzalez, 52 from A-Rod, but only 88 ribbies. I think he was hitting near the top of the order, but that's still odd. 52 and 88. That's like Brooke Jacoby in 87, I think. One of those like 32 and 67 type of numbers. Gentile, 45 and 128. Burkett, 266. Base knocks, 29 homers. That's an incredible year there. The Pirates, 55 and 158 from Jimmy Fox. 55 and 132 from Gehrig here for the Padres. 39 homers. Hundley, 37 from Maris. Mariners got 40 and 108 from Bagwell, 48 and 136 from Mays, 38 108 from Canseco, and it was a 30-30 because he had 43 steals, almost a 40-40 year. Cardinals, Wagner, 366, 59 doubles, 20 triples, 16 dingers, 108 RBI, 133 runs, 67 steals. Awesome year from Hannes Wagner. 45 and 121 from McCovey. Trout with 303, 37 and 136. Great year there. All right, the Rays had 64 and 139 from Kiner. Wow. Okay, Texas with Jimmy Sheckard hitting 349. Sean Green, 317. Caminiti. Okay. Jays had Hugh Duffy, 206 hits, 334 average. Altuve, 42-107 for Hafner, 54-120 for Hank Greenberg. And the Senators with Crawford, 379 average. And Bell and Lee with 30-plus homers. And we're back around to the Angels. And let's just do a quick report on team pitching. Where did it all go wrong for me here? Okay, Sale was awful. Tanana was dreadful. Okay, something very wrong there. I'll have to figure out what happened with my rotation. Maybe I misconfigured something because Tanana made 65 starts. That's why I got blown up here. Well, we'll have to figure out what I did there. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments. They probably look at my depth chart here compared to the other teams, but that's exactly why I faltered badly here in this. Let's go to let's get out of this. Don't even have to look at the rest. You can just see what happened there. Get out of game. Let's go to manager profile for me. Probably should have run a test season ahead of time here. Would have seen that and adjusted for it. Pitching. So I have 5 starters. I have a rotation of 5. Usage. Well, maybe I should have done strict because I think that's what the other guys set up. So I'd be curious if anybody wants to hang around. Maybe I'll rerun this and fix this here. Let me look at these other teams here briefly. Alright, they all have strict. And I had time. And I don't recall what that means. Let's see if our help screen will tell us that. Starting rotation, usage mode. Use time mode to have the computer manager do its best to make sure that every starting pitcher and reliever gets exactly as many starts and relief appearances as they had in real life. This should not be used when you're playing a season with newly drafted roster. In time mode, the computer manager ignores your rotation. Instead, it looks at how many starts each pitcher is limited to and playing time limits. Okay, so that's where I screwed up. Oh, and again, this is a tutorial, so that's good to know. Alright, so now I'm set to strict. And hopefully, I'll take the results from the original one. That was a mistake on my part. Alright, so let's close this. I've made changes. I would like to save those changes. Hopefully that's the only mistake that I made there. So if I want to, no, that's not what I want here. Yeah, I'm in October. Alright, I want to basically start a new season here. And there we go. Tools, restart a season. Yep, yes I do. So, okay, let's try this again. Scheduled. Game scheduled. And let's just go through to April 30th. And we'll see if my rotation, my managerial profile correction for my starting rotation, if that makes a difference for me here. And I'm already off to a roaring start. Well, that's why we do these things, right? So, and if I had been playing Diamond Mine on a frequent basis, I probably would have caught that, but I honestly haven't played this game in probably about 7 years, something like that. Alright, we're off to a little bit better start here, so I'm kind of thinking that was my error. What I want to do at the end of this month here is I'll go back and see how many starts my pitchers have each. We should not see Frank Tanana on pace for 65 starts. And I'm a little bit surprised that the game doesn't kind of adjust for that and see, even though I selected that option, that he should not have been fully rested and he should have not have been able to make all of those starts, I would think. Right? Although I don't know if that means that I was telling the computer to make those starts regardless of his fatigue level, which would certainly account for his 9-28 record. Alright, so we made it to the end of 1 month. I am in front by 3.5 games. What I want to do is click on the reports, go back to team pitching, and let's look at this here. Okay, and that looks much better. We have Chance, Kershaw, Scherzer, Sale, and with 5 starts apiece, and 6 for Maddox, which is what I had specified. And my saves are primarily going to Mo Rivera, although he is getting blown up a bit here. But I'm not going to tweak anything else. So let's, if you guys don't mind, we'll just sim one more season here and see how I do with my team set to the strict pitching rotation. Hopefully my results are a bit better than the first go around there. But again, this is how we learn, and each game is a little bit different, and there are a lot of settings to configure with some of these games, and I just took the default there. I wasn't really paying attention, where I should have drilled down to see, okay, what does that actually mean? And like I said, if I had been playing, if this was my go-to game, I probably would have known that and would have adjusted for it. Alright, well, let's see how the other folks are doing here. Marlins are out in front. Cubs, 1 up on St. Louis. No, remind me later. Sorry for that. Windows update pop-up. Okay, so what were we saying here? Oh, this is still a tight race up in the NL East. Got the Cubs and the Cardinals battling it out here. The Pirates are still in it. I mean, everybody's still in it. We're not even to the end of May yet, but got the Giants up this time. We've got the Jays and the Orioles battling it out here with the Yankees 5 back. Boston's well back this time. Alright, I'm 8 up now, so that's more like it. That's what I was hoping to see based on who I selected there in the draft. I thought I had a very good pitching staff, so I was kind of perplexed until we saw the the 65 starts for Tanana there. That was a dead giveaway that I had screwed up one of my profile settings there. So again, we'll concede the loss the first time around, but this is how this is playing out a little bit more how I expected this time around. Although it looks like I'm giving up a bit of the lead here to the Astros. Losing 4 in a row, 5 in a row, not helping. 6 in a row. Uh-oh. Hey, we won a game. All right. Oh, we lost again. We're 2 and 8 in our last 10. This is getting too close for comfort. Astros are 2 back now. 1.5 out. Uh-oh. It's not a runaway at all here. Astros down to a half game. Come on, guys. Let's get our stuff together here. We're almost to the end of June. Okay, I'm not going to stare at my team because I feel like once I started doing that, we started cratering there. All right, the Braves are up on the Expos here. This is a tight race in the NL East. Cardinals 2 up on the Cubs. Giants starting to pull away in the West here. We've got the Jays by 6 over the Orioles. Tigers 6 up on the Indians. Oh, and the Astros just tied me. And I'm a half game back. And I'm a game back. And I'm 2 games back. I'm going to stop looking at that now. Alright. Well, whatever happens there happens, but at least I know that my pitching rotation is what I wanted it to be. Okay, tight race in the NL East. Really tight race. NL Central, pretty tight race. NL West, Giants are up by 10.5, 11. AL East, Jays are up by 7 over the Orioles. Red Sox starting to creep back into the race, it looks like. Tigers 4.5 up on the Senators, 5 now. Angels tied for the Astros for the lead in the West. All right, we're going to keep it here. The Spos and the Marlins tied in the NL East. Braves and the Phillies and the Mets all within striking distance, actually. Central, we've got the Cubs on top of the Cardinals by 1.5 games. Giants are up by 9 in the West. Got a magic number of 50 already. Jays are up by 8.5, magic number of 50. Tigers are up by 3.5 over the Senators. Angels are 2 ahead of the Stros. That is too tight for me. Too close for comfort. Alright. Okay, Marlins broke out to a little bit of a lead here over the Expos, the Braves. We got the Cubs half game over the Cardinals now. Giants 7 up on the Padres. Jays 7.5 up on the Orioles, 8 now. Oh, look at the Senators. Senators tied for first, in the lead now by 1 game. Alright, that's going to come down to the wire, it looks like. Angels 3 up now on the Stros. Okay, got the Braves and the Expos and the Marlins all within 2 games there. NL East. Cubs and Cardinals virtual tie here. Cubs up by half game. By 1 game, 1.5. Okay. Cubbies just won 5, 6 in a row. Okay. Keep an eye on that. The Giants 6 up on the Padres. The Jays 10.5 up on Baltimore. They've got a magic number of 24 now. Senators half game up on the Indians. Tigers slid back to 2.5 back. Still in it though. Angels 4.5 up on the Stros. Don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to keep an eye on that. And we're into September. September 1st rolls around. The Braves, the Expos, battling it out in the NL East. Cardinals a half game up on the Cubbies now. Now the Cubs go back on top. That's going to flip-flop right until the end probably. Giants losing their lead here, 4.5 to the Padres. Jays running away with the AL East. They're 12 up. They're going to clinch this one pretty soon, it looks like. Senators 2 up on the Indians. Angels 5.5 up on the Stros. Got a magic number of 13 now. Okay, Jays with a magic number of 8. Looks like they're going to be the first to clinch here. Expos 2.5 up on the Braves. Cardinals half game up on the Cubs. Giants up by 5 over San Diego. Jays 12.5 up. They've got a 3 magic number, 2 now. They're going to wrap this up momentarily, down to 1. And Toronto clinches. Congratulations to the Blue Jays. All right. Expos. Game and a half over the Braves, 2 up on the Phillies, 1.5 up on the Phillies now. Cardinals 2.5 up on the Cubs, 1.5. They've got a 6 magic number. Giants with a 3. Oh, the Senators clinch while I wasn't watching. Anybody else? Giants clinch. Angels clinch. Cubs Cardinals 1 game, 1.5. Oh, the Cardinals win it by 1, and the Phillies by a half game over the Expos. Wow. All right, good stuff there. Yeah, I guess that was a in-season playoff game there. Although why the Expos don't get a chance to tie, I don't know what happened there. What was the... Expos losing to the Cardinals on the final day, so that's how the Cardinals got their win there. Wow, tight races here. Okay, the Philadelphia A's lost 104 games. And who scored the most runs? Well, the Rockies did, but they also gave up the most runs. And the A's, that's a terrible run differential there. That's why the A's lost 104. Alrighty, let's go to the reports again. Let's look at leaders. Alright, so here we have Cobb, 407, over home run Baker and Lajoie and Williams. On base, Williams over Ruth. Slug, Ruth over Williams. Hits, Cobb 265, Baker 258. We're not going to go through all these. Runs, Ruth, Ribbies, Jackson. Cobb with 58 doubles, Musial and Cobb with 26 triples. Home runs, that's a little more like it. 61 and 61 there. And leave that up for a moment. Let's look at pitching leaders. There we go. Okay, Randy Johnson, 321. Strikeouts, Martinez over Johnson. Ryan with the walk lead. Jesse Haynes, 20 and 5. Batting average, on base, and slugging against. Couple of guys with 30 plus saves. Okay, cool. And I just want to look at my reports here. Let's look at team pitching. Here we go. And does this look better? Okay, Rivera did have 21 saves, and he did knock the ERA down to 3.42. Nice. So Scherzer got beat up, 5-13, 7.07. Okay, we had Maddox. So all of my pitchers had a ERA above 4. Starting pitchers. Sale pitched better this time around. Kershaw, Chance. All right, so didn't really do great on the pitching side, but again, with all of this offense, it's just you're not going to get these guys with a 1 ERA to give you a 1 ERA here, right? I think I mentioned in the first video that somebody's got to give up those runs, and somebody's got to give up those hits, and you know, Wilhelm did pretty good in the mop-up role there. And then let's look at, take a look at my batting here. Okay, Williams, Carew hit 307, 205 hits. Nice numbers across the board there. Albert, 31 and 107. Donnie Baseball, pretty good numbers, 45 doubles. Okay, Gwynn hit 290 in a reserve role. Aaron, again, there's just not enough playing time to go around for all of my DH first base corner outfield guys. So Thomas, Wilson, Hack Wilson with 53 jacks, 127 ribs. And Campanella did a bit better this time around. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys. So again, this is how you run a solo draft in Diamond Mine Baseball. And I'm kind of glad that we did run into the one issue with my rotation setup there. Remember to use strict if you want the 4 or 5 starters that you selected to be used in rotation. You don't want the computer manager to start messing with your setup or ignoring even worse, which is what happened to me, is ignoring my rotation there. So hope you enjoyed this. Keep playing ball. Take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.